Hi everybody, I'm Chris, and I am Dreaming Blue Cleaning Services, and today I'm going to show you how I started a window cleaning business without a motor vehicle or without a ladder. So, here's my stuff, and we're going to go through everything here, and let's see here, where should we start? So if you want to start with this, you got to start with what you're going to hold your water with. I use this as a bucket. This is a Cobalt toolbox that I got from Lowe's. I don't know if they make these anymore. This isn't waterproof. You do see that there's a liner here, but if you knock this over, water will spill out, but it just doesn't spill as fast. And so what I like about this is that I'm able to keep all of my tools inside of it, and also if it does tip over, it'll still spill, but it won't spill as much as an open bucket. So you will need 3 squeegees. You'll need a small, a medium, and a large. And these two are the ones that you'll use more than this one. So when you go to buy all this stuff, like, these are 2 things that I suggest first. These are both, as you can see, they're both Sorbos, Sorbo handles, Sorbo channels, and the rubbers are Ettore. And I'll get to that in a second as to why I use Ettore rubbers and not Sorbo rubbers. This, I believe, is like a 4, 5, 6 inches. I don't know. I hardly ever use it. And very clearly, it's an Ettore handle and an Ettore channel with an Ettore rubber in it. This is a Sorbo 14, and this is a Sorbo 24 inch. I don't like to use Sorbo rubbers because they just don't last as long as the rubbers that Ettore makes for these. Similar channels, these are swivel handle channels. Swivel handles, I do not understand why anybody wants to use fixed bar handles anymore. I really don't. These will save you a lot of aggravation. Just spend the extra money on the swivel handles. Just trust me. Channels are Sorbo Cobras, which I like because these plastic ends here prevent you from, or make it less likely, I should say, that you will damage your customer's property. Really easy to figure out why you use a big one and a small one. Obviously, you'll use the big ones for bigger windows. You always want to use the biggest window that you can, the biggest squeegee that you possibly can for your windows. This little Ettore one I typically use on French windows, although lately, honestly, I just take a wet rag, I rag them down, and I dry them with a dry towel. I only use one mop. This is also a swivel handle. Again, I don't understand why anyone would want to use a fixed T-bar. These really save you a lot of aggravation. Just spend the extra money on swivel handle. This is a Sorbo mop. If I'm not mistaken, other mops will work with Sorbo T-bars, but I just like these. These use a brass snap instead of Velcro like Ettore and Ungers do. Does that make them better? Not really, just makes it different, but it's what I prefer. A big problem that ends up with these things is these do end up blowing out after some time. I tend to take some fishing line and just sew these back together. Okay, poles. Again, like your squeegees, you're going to have a small, a medium, and a large. I use Worcester poles. I'm not enthusiastic about them, but that's what Home Depot has, and I like these more than some other brands that I've tried before. I end up defaulting to these. This is a Mr. Longarm head that goes on these. I would like to have some kind of a system that snaps together a little better than this, but whatever. Your medium and your small poles, this is a 2 foot that goes to 4 foot. This one's a 4 foot that goes to 8. This one's an 8 that goes to 16. This is your ladder replacer. Now get to how you transport these two. Actually, I get to how you transport all of this in due time here, but next thing. This is the only Mowerman product that I own, and it's the only Mowerman product that I'll suggest. But this is my bucket on a belt. This holds all my tools together. There's a lot of reasons why you want to have a bucket on the belt. The company that I started with, we did not use buckets on belt. And we should have. I could go great about that. I'll probably do so in a different video. I've had this since I started. I've had this same bucket for 4 years. It's held up pretty well. So yeah, I'd suggest it. But it is the only Mowerman product that I would suggest. You need soap. This is Dawn dish soap mixed with white vinegar. And this is the same bottle of, it's a juice bottle. And I've been using this. This is the little bottle that I carry with my other stuff. Now, okay, towels. So these are the towels. These are Huck towels. This is Detroit. I buy these from Detroit Sponge, like $50 worth at a time. This bin right here, this bin is entirely filled with towels. I do not use a sponge. There's a lot of people who still do use the sponges, and that's their thing. I don't care enough. I just use towels for everything. For detailing, for mopping up water. I just don't care. I don't care. You will need a receipt book. And I got my information blacked out. I don't like to share my info on the internet. But you do need a carbon copy receipt book, both for your accounting and because your customers will, most of your customers will expect you to provide a receipt. And the reason that is because window cleaning is a tax-deductible expense in most states. I don't know if it is in yours, but in Pennsylvania it is. You should have business cards and get the good ones. I'll include links to the companies that I get for both of these. They're not the same company. I have Zazzle do my business cards, and if I'm not mistaken, there's a company called PPS that does my receipts. So those are the things that you will absolutely need to start a window cleaning business. Some other things that I would suggest. Gloves, if you don't want your hands getting beat up, or if it's winter, you don't want to be cleaning. You can clean windows when it's below freezing, but you should have some kind of gloves on when you're doing so. Steel wool, if you're going to be detailing anything with steel wool, first off, don't include that in any prices. Have that included, upcharge for that, for any kind of serious work. The more work that you do, the more you should be getting paid. That's just generally a rule of thumb. Always use Quad Zero, the extra absolute finest steel wool you can get. You don't want to mess up anybody's windows and scratch them. You can end up scratching them with steel wool, and you can scratch them with razor blades. I have a big stack of disposable razor blades right here. That is also something you should upcharge. There's other people who will tell you to not ever razor blade anything ever. I've never had an issue. I've never scratched anything in the years that I've been doing this, but there's a way to do it. And if you do it wrong, you might end up scratching somebody's window. And if they notice that, or if they care, they're going to come after you. Which is why, the other thing, which isn't pictured, get yourself an insurance policy. It's not as expensive as you might think. I pay $45 a month for my insurance policy. And most of us will go decades upon decades through our career and never file a single claim ever. But that's not the point. The point is, there's a lot of people, particularly homeowners, do not want you touching anything on their property unless you've got an insurance policy. It's not so much that it's something to save your ass when things go to hell, and that does happen, but more so than anything, it's a way of showing that you are professional, and it's that key that gets you through the door sometimes. But it's something you should have anyway. These things. This is yet another thing that I buy from Home Depot. There's not a whole lot. This is a duster. These are good for getting dusts off of cobwebs, things like that. It annoys me when cobwebs get stuck to my mop. So I will tend to, if something's particularly dirty, I will dust things down with this before actually doing cleaning on it. And, yeah, that's everything. As you'll also notice, I have uniforms. 8 years of Catholic grade school, I swore I'd never wear a uniform again, and here I am in my adult life, insisting on wearing one. Why should you have uniforms? Just aside from the fact that it makes you look more professional? Well, because I got tired of people saying, oh, you work here, right? Which aisle is... No. I'm not an employee. I'm a contractor. It's just one of those ways to keep you from people asking you questions thinking that you're an employee, because you're not an employee. You're a contractor. They're not expensive. I buy them in bulk on Amazon. These are American Apparels. And I had a local company do print work for them. Have something printed on the front, and let's see if it reaches on the back. I don't know. Can you see it? My logo on the back here. So, the next question becomes, how do you transport all this to get where you're going? Well, that's very interesting. My time as a bicycle messenger, I learned how to maintain and repair and modify bicycles. I've had literally like tens of thousands of miles on this bike. This is a 2013 Novara Torero mountain bike, 29er. And this is where it's going to transport you on and all your stuff to where you're going. And to use that, we're going to use this messenger bag here. This is from the Trash Messenger Bag Company in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Put all your towels in here. And you put all of this in the toolbox. And then you load the toolbox in here, along with the big squeegee and the little pole. And all of this goes in here, which I don't need to go through right now, because we're going to explain how we get the poles to where we're going. These are ankle cuffs. These are what cyclists wear around their ankles to keep their pant legs from getting caught in the crank. What I come to find out is that if you put your pole up against the side of the bike, you just take these, tie it down there, and then tie the other one over here. And that'll get you where you're going. This is the bike I started with. Now I have an electric bicycle. This is a 500 watt, 48 volt, Diamondback Trace 29er bike. It maxes out at 28 miles an hour. The speed limit is 25. Getting anywhere I need to go inside the city, this will get you there. You don't have to pay for vehicle insurance. You don't have to pay for fuel. Great way to go. But this is what I started on until I saved up for this thing. Getting your long pole around. Yes, you're going to be looking ridiculous while you do this, having your pole on here. Because you can tie both of these together on here. The thing about this pole is, like I said, this is really just a replacement for a ladder. So you're not going to be using this for a whole lot of jobs. But it is useful and you should have it. So that's the long and the short of Dreaming Blue Cleaning Services. And if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Thank you all for watching.